Before I show you how our AI software works, here's something important to understand. Whether you're a student fresh out of high school or someone returning to school while juggling work and family, you have a dream for a new life. But the reality is, the student visa refusal rate was 52% last year. That means that half of people like you were rejected. Not just losing time and money, but the chance to start over. And most of the time, it wasn't because they weren't qualified. It was because of confusing paperwork, a missing document, or a poorly written SOP. We've seen amazing students refused just because they didn't fully explain their case. But that pain, it's in the past now. Student Visa Express is here, built with immigration lawyers, powered by AI, and designed to help you apply with clarity and confidence. Let me show you how it works now. Obviously, the goal is to submit a strong study permit application that gets approved. And here's how our software can help. To end up here, to see your red flags, to get a strong SOP as well as documents, we'll go through a simple registration process. Let me show you how it works. Please remember that if you have any questions, we have a human live chat in the bottom right where one of our employees will get back to you and help support you throughout the process. Before we go through the onboarding process, one cool thing that doesn't exist anywhere but here is the Canadian Student Visa Risk Radar. It's very cool. You need to see how it works. So based on your country of citizenship, let's say you're applying from India, and based on your school, let's say Humber College, we identify the potential risk you're running of a visa refusal. This is based on the student visa refusal rates by country of citizenship and by DLI. So now, how do you actually go through the sign-up process? So let's say that you're applying from India. That's it. You've just signed up. Now the onboarding process, which is very important because it helps us create a very strong custom case for you. So let's go through it. Once you sign in, you are then showed how it's done. Very straightforward. I'm going to show you myself, but basically at the very top, you'll find different sections. Then on the left, you'll find questions that belong to that section. You need to answer all of them one by one. After that, you hit save my answers, and then you go on to the next section. And once all sections have been filled out, you'll have green ticks next to each of them. And then you'll have to click next in order to go to the dashboard, which is your red flag scanner, profile wizard, and all those things. Got it. So again, several sections, each of them contains a series of questions. You have to answer questions one by one, and only then click save answer and go on to the next section. Let me demonstrate. So in this case, we're interested in a student visa. It's gonna ask us, are you applying from India, your home country? Let's say yes, but you could also be applying from a third country. It makes it more complicated, but again, our system, just so that you know, this platform has been used in over 140 countries. So it's very specific, can dive into various cases, but not to overcomplicate. Let's say you're applying from India, save answers, see the green tick. Awesome. Now we're moving on to the next section, which is employment. What's your employment status? Of course, to create a stronger home tie, it's better to be employed, either work for a company or run your own business, which is self-employed. For this example, I'll say employed. Now, what's your current monthly salary that you earn at your job or business? Let's say that you make $2,000 a month. This is in Canadian dollars. Now, do you have an education or employment gap of 2 or more years? If you are a high school student, it's not super relevant to you. That's totally fine. But if you are a mature professional, usually gaps of 2 or more years aren't preferred. They could lead to a potential visa refusal. So let's say that I don't have any gaps. But again, the system is smart. If you have gaps, just type in your explanation. Maybe you were on a sabbatical, or perhaps you had some kind of business activity going on, or maybe you just retired, or perhaps you had a child. You know, it could be very different for everybody, but again, the system is super smart. It's going to help you navigate through that. But let's say no for now. Then, do you own any assets in India? It's great if you have assets. If not, that's fine. But if you do, you're going to specify what assets you have: real estate, business, investments, vehicles, and so on. Let's say you have land and real estate. Save my answers. Next section, family. Okay, here, your marital status. You could be single, divorced, married, and so on. This really depends. Now, do you have children? I'm gonna say that yes, I have children. In this case, I'm gonna say I have one child, and it's gonna ask you to specify. So let's say my child is Jenny, and she's female, she is 10 years old, and she will not come to Canada with me, which creates a stronger home tie, because if you're leaving family members behind, it's almost like an anchor that you want to show. All right, next, do you have siblings? Again, if you have siblings, it's going to be specific. The system is very custom, again, to create a higher success rate for you, to grow your chances. I'm going to say no to make it easier. Are your parents still alive? You can say yes, both of them are still alive. Grandparents, same thing. Yes, both are alive, let's say, or just grandmother or grandfather, or none of them, that's fine. But if you have elderly parents or grandparents, it creates another strong home tie. Now, will any of your family members accompany you in Canada? I'm gonna say that they will not come to Canada to make it easier, but if they do want to accompany you, what we recommend is splitting the applications, applying for yourself separately, and then once you are approved, applying for them. However, you can also bring them together, especially if it's children and if they're minor children. But to make it easier, no. Okay, save answers next. Now, education. What did you study back home? Let's say I have a bachelor's in civil engineering. Awesome. Now, what will you study in Canada? Let's say, to make it logical, let's say that I'm gonna study something in demand, like master's in construction management. After, what school will you study at? Let's say that I'm gonna study at the University of British Columbia. Which province? So again, the system guides you step by step. It's super easy to understand. British Columbia. Just answer every question, don't skip any. Now, what's the duration of your study program? Let's say it's a 2-year master's. Did you have to take a language exam to study in Canada? Most people do, so they would say, let's say I had to take IELTS, and my IELTS overall was 8. Next. Does your study program in Canada match your educational or professional background? Again, this is a very tricky question, because for a Canadian student visa, you want to show non-immigrant intentions. That is, your past is somehow related to the present or your education in Canada, but also it ties back to the future that you want to build back home. You want to show that there's a lot of incentive for you to go back to your home country after studies. Let's say that there is alignment. And again, our system guides you. If you are a high school graduate, this would not be applicable in most cases. Now, what's the total study cost? So let's say in this case, it would be 50,000 Canadian dollars. And again, you need to convert everything into Canadian dollar. Save my answers. All right, now employment. Who's paying for your expenses in Canada? Let's say in this case, you're covering it yourself, but it could be sponsors, and it's gonna ask you who. So parents, siblings, relatives, friends, could be a sponsorship from work or government or a scholarship. All right, now let's say myself. But remember, if you do have a sponsor, they would need to show a financial affidavit of support. Now, how much money do you have in your bank account? Let's say that in this case, so I need to show that I have enough money to cover the whole study program. So the cost of studies plus the cost of living, which is about 20,000 a year. So let's say that I have $100,000 Canadian to cover my cost of study. Do you have the intent to return home? Again, it's a non-immigrant visa, so you need to want to go back. Do you have a job offer in India, in your home country, after studies in Canada? Let's say that you do. And again, even if it's a potential offering you could have if you upgraded your education in Canada. So let's say that I will have an offer from Mumbai Devs, a development firm, let's say. Now, do you know how much money you could earn per month if you got promoted after studies in Canada? Let's say yes, and let's say that I could make, let's say $7,000 Canadian a month. Now, are you involved in any organizations? It's good to show that you are a member of the society, be it volunteering, something religious, maybe clubs, teams, charity, and so on. So let's say yes, and let's say that I attend this temple in Mumbai. All right. Save my answers. Now, the last section, which is we're almost there. Have you traveled outside India? Travel history helps. It's good to have it. It's okay if you don't have it, but let's say that I do have it, and let's say that it's the United States. Let's say it's also Australia. And that's it. Next question. Have you ever been refused a visa? This is totally fine. In fact, we had clients among those over 10,000 that this software has served that had a previous refusal, and then they came to the platform, they used it, and they were approved. So it's possible to have a refusal and be approved. You just need to explain it in as much detail as possible. Again, the system is very smart, but you need to be also able to explain everything in detail. So let's say that you don't have any refusals, just to make it easier. Now, do you have an infectious disease? Hopefully not, because it carries a high medical cost, which could be seen as a burden to the Canadian medical system. So I'll say no. And now, do you have a criminal record? This is a very tricky case. If you do have a criminal record, I would highly recommend applying with a lawyer because it's a very tricky situation. Now that you have filled out all of the sections, this button next will light up. Click next, and now you can see your red flags. So in this case, there's 5 red flags. When I click fix my application, it takes me to the overview, which helps you track your progress so that you don't forget or miss anything. Also, this tab contains tasks, and the system will prompt you to complete certain tasks so that your application is good to go. Also, on the right, you'll find some useful information like checking your processing time, or if you require a legal review from an immigration lawyer as well right here. Now, red flags, the most interesting one. So the system will show you some of your red flags. In order to see all of them, you would need to upgrade. Also, to resolve red flags, you need to upgrade. Here in the top right, you can also see the refusal rate for your home country. In this case, it's India. So how does the upgrade work? Click upgrade now. The system will identify which package works for you specifically. There's singles and then those who have family members. Now you're gonna select this plan. Now that you have upgraded, you're taken back to the home page. All you need to do is click dashboard, then you skip the tutorial and click next. Now you come back to the profile where you've already subscribed to a plan, which is great because now you have access to all of these features. You can see all of the red flags, see what they mean, and also resolve them. To resolve them, you can either hop over to the left side to the menu, click SOP Builder to make a custom SOP, or the document manager, which prompts you to upload certain supporting documents in order to overcome a potential refusal. Our system is very smart, again, based on your dashboard, on your specific profile. It's going to identify certain risks because we've already compared your profile to the Immigration Act to find discrepancies and find issues that could arise potentially. So you can either do it through here, or you can also resolve it through the red flag scanner, which just enables you to click on these buttons on the right and takes you to the appropriate tool to resolve them. For example, SOP. This is magical because this is one of the reasons why we had thousands of users come to our platform. It makes a custom statement of purpose to overcome your risks and red flags. And it does it in seconds, plus it's always unique. Every time it's a unique statement of purpose. If you have family members, you can also make this SOP for your family. See, just like that. So just like in less than a minute, it made a custom statement of purpose based on my background. It talks about why study in Canada, goes into why this program. And one thing that is very unique that other professionals, even lawyers and consultants, don't cover is the return on investment, which is a very important section. It's important you include it so that the visa officer can understand why spend so much money to study in Canada. A cool thing is you can edit this SOP, then you can save it. When you click save, it's added to your document manager, and you can also regenerate. When you regenerate, it's going to be a brand new SOP. If you're happy with it though, you can just click save and then it's taken to your document manager. Inside the document manager, if you want, you can download it separately. In case you made a mistake during the onboarding process, that's okay. Things happen. Just hover over to your profile, click immigration profile, and you can edit that information over here. The system will reflect it. Now, document manager is a lifesaver. It's going to help you not get refused. What it does, it basically helps overcome risks or red flags with supporting documents so that a visa officer would not see you as a potential risk or that you do not comply with the regulation. Now, it's different case to case, depends on what you said during the onboarding process. It's going to ask you for different supporting documents, but you're going to upload them one by one. I've already done that. You can see it here on the right. but let me walk you through what you need to know from the technical standpoint. So for example, let's say that you answer that you have a job, right? Or you have a job offer when you go back home, or a potential job when you return, right? For that, there's an explanation. So a hint tells you what it is, and then the examples of documents show you what kind of document you can upload. For this case, we upload a job offer letter, and you can see the uploaded file here. You can download it. You can also add a new document to it, so it's going to be a merge. And just remember that all these documents have to be in the PDF format. You can also delete the document and upload a new document. That's very self-explanatory. However, what's interesting here is that, for example, for your travel history, it could be multiple documents. Could be your US visa, could be your stamped passport as one PDF. You can merge it before uploading here. If you see something that's not relevant to you, you can just upload a blank document. But most of it will be very custom, very specific, and it will require you to upload something before you can get to this button, which will only activate once everything has been uploaded, which is download my document. And what's cool about this is you end up with two bundles: supporting documents and proof of funds. Supporting documents, the client information is optional, but it makes or breaks your case. This is the reason why the refusal rate for the Canadian study permit was 52% last year. Like, more than half of people get refused because they don't show these supporting documents. And that's exactly why our software is different. It's not just to help you apply, but to increase your chances. And speaking of helping you apply, once you're done with this, you're taken to the final stage, the application guide. This is where, through a video or text format, we guide you step by step through the application process. So you're showed exactly where to upload, what to upload, where to take all these documents and put them on the IRCC platform. You can either read through it in a text format, step by step again, or you can watch this interactive video. And each video is very short. It's about 5 minutes, walks you step by step until everything is uploaded and your application is submitted. Basically, what this means is you're gonna go to Document Manager, get all of your supporting documents, proof of funds, then you're gonna go to the IRCC secure account and upload them here. So for proof of means of financial support, that's your financial document bundle. And for this one, client information, that's all of your supporting documents that you've already downloaded from ImmigrateAI Global. That's how easy and simple it is. And again, we guide you step by step through this guide so that you don't forget anything. It's either in video format or text, whichever one you prefer. Now, on a personal note, I know immigration can be overwhelming. You're building your next chapter in a new country. It's exciting, and I hope that our AI software, just like with thousands of other people, it can help you build that new chapter while reducing your refusal risk, increasing your success, and removing this paperwork headache from your life. I'm wishing you best of luck, and thank you for watching. Please let us know how we did either here in the comments or go to immigrateai.global. Thank you.